I'm interested to understand your the evidence test that you're using and how it is that you've applied that when you say there isn't enough evidence for us to support retaining the CIA. That's my first question. And I think my second question really is for the licensing. Within the CIA, can you please clarify what the process is when a new application comes in? Because because my understanding is the CIA means that there is presumption to refuse unless there's some exceptions and some cases made. How is that different if it's listed?
I think if we go to Chris Winslow first for that answer.
Okay. Yeah. So in relation to the stats that we provided, when it comes to talking about the evidential test, we'll probably start talking around the noise aspect. It's the first aspect. If you look at the numbers provided, considering the number of premises that are within the area, we actually do see a low number of complaints relating to late night noise past 11 o'clock. We're not talking about earlier activity. We're talking about that late night noise that's linked to licensable activity, potential licensable activity, which does include some busking as well. So that street noise. To understand, that was one of the questions that was raised at the last hearing. Again, the cumulative impact is looking at that cumulative impact. When you have such a low number of reports that are being made and looking at the trends, we are looking at a downwards trend in relation to the number of complaints about specific late night premises. And that's what the focus is on. Does not mean there isn't noise in the city centre, but in terms of the noise that could be directly linked to specific licensed premises or specific activity within such as busking, yeah, that's what we'll be looking at and referring to. I've also referred to the stats in relation to he talked about some the joint working. It's a big thing that the council is involved with, looking at a tasking perspective of where the different responsible authorities and partners will come together to discuss issue premises and to decide forms of actions through visits, informal action, through to formal warnings, and potentially even through to reviews that come through to yourselves. Actually, you can see from the stats provided, there is also that downwards trend as well, and the large number of premises that I talked about in that multi-agency setting do sit outside the current CIA area.
Can I come back on that? Yeah. So I'm still not clear what evidence test you're using. There's two evidence tests. It's either balance of probabilities, which in my mind could be the only one you're using. So is that the one you're using, balance of probabilities? That would be the evidence test in my mind. And saying that it's a low number, what are you comparing that with? What it was like 10 years ago? What another part of the city is like? I don't understand. I need something, in my mind, I need something what are you comparing it with when you're saying you can't support it because the evidence is not there?
Okay, so the context of the city as a whole, last year we dealt with, I think I've got the numbers, I've got another number, which was approximately 1,450 noise complaints across the city as a whole. As you can see from the stats I provided, only 12 related to noise complaints to do with licensed premises during the hours of the CIA. I've also provided in the stats in my submission, going back to 2017, that's the whole period that neighbour enforcement, and also covers the previous CIA areas, so you've got that comparison. So, like I said, in 2023, there was only 12 noise complaints that were related to licensed premises, compared to 23 in the previous year, 21, and going backwards. So currently we're around 50% lower. So we're talking about a cumulative impact across quite a large area, which if you look at the map of the area that's covered, different areas, that's what we'll be looking at. So we're going by actual not feeling, but by actual individual cases, investigations, and the stats we're investigating.
Chair, may I ask a question, please? May I do that briefly, based on what the gentleman's just said?
That's fine, yeah.
Just a brief question. Human behaviour needs to be factored in. After 11 o'clock, very tired, busy families are trying to sleep. Sorry to say, in recent years, we haven't had the response when we reported things, and so we've come to the conclusion there's no one out there that cares. I wondered if you factored in that we got very tired of trying to report things when nobody takes any notice, so we've had to deal with it. I've actually had to go round to bars myself to deal with it directly with the licence holder, and I don't feel the public should be put in that position yet. We do need to be taken into account, so perhaps I can talk to the police later about listening to our responses. But human behaviour, we've got very tired of reporting things that never get taken forward. Is that all right?